Yeah, I think it's great that this event is happening because we're now at the point where technology is so powerful that it can achieve anything. And so the question is no longer going to be about monetization or how we can control technology or those kind of things. It's going to be about what it does and why it does it. Right? So 5 years ago the question was about how does it work, how much does it cost, what does it do? And in 5 years the question is going to be about why are we doing this and who is doing it, can they be trusted, what is the reason, what is the purpose, rather than does it work? That's a very big shift. I think it's an interesting question when you think about what a startup should consider about the future. Until now, we considered only economic models or market dominance, because startups are about selling eventually. Right? So I think the future is going to be much more about what it does in a larger story, rather than focusing on economic gains, which have always been part of it. So I've been developing this theory of people, planet, purpose, and prosperity, which is about, as a startup, you should tick all the 4 boxes. So is it sustainable? Is it good for people? Does it create a profit and growth? And does it have a meaning? These are the key questions. If you can tick all 4 boxes, I would say that's a good startup. Yes, I think the challenge is that in principle, there's nothing wrong with wanting to monetize things or with wanting to be rich or any of those things. That's a very human thing, it's to want to gain things. However, we have to realize that if we want to gain things at all costs, the costs are getting higher every day because the side effects of technology are changing our entire culture, our democracy, our voting, our lifestyle, our thinking. If we're going to live to be 100 or 120 because of technology, then our entire social system changes. So we have to take a wider view and not think about GDP, but about GPH, GNH, gross national happiness, as they say in Bhutan, right? Or the gross national progress, the GPH indicator, which is 50 different things. Right? Because first, there's a saying that you can't do business in a dead world. When we have done away with everything, then business will be bad. So we have to sustain this. So we have to have a wider definition of what we're trying to achieve, not just economic growth, but also human growth. And I think in 20 years we're going to end up in a place where we don't need all this anymore because technology is creating abundance, makes it possible. We just have to have the political will to distribute the money. And this, of course, one of the primary reasons of terrorism is that we have this distinction between the people that have and the have-nots. And people who have nothing have sometimes very little purpose, and that's where terrorism comes from. So the answer is all in having the will to change this rather than the technology. Let's say that when we talk about work, for example, right? Many people work like robots. Right? So you have a function in a company, you fulfill the function, you deliver the results, and it's like being a robot. But if you do anything if you work like a robot, then eventually the robot will learn everything you're doing because there's no real input. So this is basically what has been called a bullshit job. It's a job that just recreates and just does it again and again. And 10 years ago, a lot of companies wanted to have people who are very good in execution. And today, most companies want people who ask questions, who are creative, who are emotionally intelligent, people who are troublemakers. Right? Every single company wants people that bring in the human element, because everything else can be done by machines. So in just 10 years, we're going to have to completely change education to go away from this functioning idea and the downloading of information to creativity, design, asking questions, negotiation, the human skills. And that's why I'm hopeful. I think, we have to find those again, and we have to take another look at what it means to be human, which is probably not to be a machine. I think it's a very good concept to bring together nature, startups, the discussion about humanity and technology, to bring it all into one place. And it doesn't happen enough. I think we have so many events where people go and trying to figure out how to be the next eBay or how to be the next whatever, because their primary motivation is market share or selling. And I think we have to get away from this idea of saying, we're going to build something, makes lots of money, and then we move on and do something good. We have to think more holistically. So I have this thing called the future principles I use there, and that includes exponential, of course, but also holistic and circular, which is sustainable, and human-centric. And I think this is where everything has to go. And also that's where I think the new business is. Because the sort of torched earth idea that you build a business like social media, and then you turn it into a paradox, and then you take the money and just go somewhere else, right? And this is really not good for us. So I think that paradigm is changing.